Hello, everybody, and it is Friday, which means it's a Friday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. No Ty Bartell today. He's dealing with a little bit of power issues, like a lot of people over in Aaron Gilbert's part of the world are. And we are going to be joined by the top of the show, though, by head coach of the Garfield girls basketball team, Aaron Gilbert. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Anthony.
Yeah, I mean, what a crazy day. Everyone's kind of dealing with some power outage, but good to see that you're still working and you're still at school.
Yeah, it was a little rough morning, but we've managed to get through and get here and try to keep it as normal as possible.
Man, how do you keep things normal when you're getting ready for a district championship again? I mean, is this ever get old? It's starting to become a routine for Garfield.
Oh,
Here we go, district championship.
No, it never gets old. One of the, this is year 15 for me here, and it took us, I believe, 6 years to win our first tournament game, sectional tournament game. And ever since then, we've been able to roll. And one thing that I learned is you can't take any of it for granted. It never gets routine. You never, because every group is unique. You graduate kids. You may be the same coach, but you're having a new group that you're bringing into the game each year. And so, you try to explain to them what the feeling is. You try to explain to them how the atmosphere is different. The game is faster. The crowd is louder. Every possession matters a little bit more. But yeah, at times you just have to breathe and enjoy the moment, which it's not easy to do. You do get caught up in the moment, but you just got to take everything in stride. The first year we made our regional run in 2015, it was such a blur. I mean, did we expect, we got high. I mean, we came into the tournament with 8 losses that year and made a run all the way to the regional finals that year with when Grayson and Lauren were sophomores. And it just went by. And I vowed to myself that night, I gotta take a step and enjoy this. And thankfully we got another chance 2 years later to get into that same game, but you just never know. I mean, it's tourney time. Anything can happen. I watched some games last night on different live streams, and there were some buzzer beaters. There were some top seeds that got knocked off over on the other side of the state. And heck, look at Fitch's boys. I mean, who would have thought they'd go down to Dover and knock off a 1-loss Dover team? So weird things happen, man. You just get hot at the right time and things can happen.
That was, according to Max Preps, 156 in the state against 6 in the state. In Austintown, Fitch pulled off the win.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. And like I said, you get one kid that has a good shooting night. It's all it takes. I mean, and basketball is one of those fickle things where, you can bring your defense, but sometimes your offense, you don't know, there might be a kid who just might be feeling it that night. And it might be a kid who's not on the scouting report, which is always, as coaches, our worst fear. It's that kid who's not on the scouting report and all of a sudden drops 15 on us. Where'd this kid come from? Because you focus on player A and player B, maybe even player C, but all of a sudden player G starts hitting stuff and you're like, oh, where'd this kid come from? And their coach, may even be like, oh, I don't know, so it's you just never know.
Have you ever had a hard time kind of teaching that lesson to players, like, hey, that this isn't going to be a cakewalk just because of the record, or anything can happen on any given night? Has that ever been kind of tough to explain to 15 to 18-year-old kids?
Oh, absolutely. It's, they're not dumb. They read social media. They listen to people in the hallways at school. They listen to home who, this game will be, whatever. I mean, look at our first game against Wycliffe. We're down 8-0, 10-2, and it's like, I told you guys, like, teams, for years we were the chasers, and we were the ones that were the underdogs, and we were the ones that, could give that big motivational speech of, hey, this is your opportunity to make a name for yourself. Well, now we've been on the flip side of that for several years, and now we've got the big giant target on our back. We're the red letter game on people's schedules. And so you try to get each group to understand that no matter what the record is, everybody is going to take their best shot. Everybody's going to play their best game against you. And that's really hard, especially in basketball, to get yourself physically, but more importantly, mentally in that frame of mind that everybody is bringing their A game, because you can't afford a night off. And because that might be the night. And, tourney time, you're definitely, you can't have a night off because it can end. And that's, that's the beauty of the tournament, but that's also the pain of the tournament is, you always have to be ready to give that speech in the locker room. And that is the worst speech that any coach is going to tell you. That's the worst speech to have to give after a loss in the tournament locker room, because there's a lot of emotion flowing and it's hard. That's when the reality hits. And, all of us want it to keep going forever. There's only 4 people in the state that get to keep it going. But you don't want to lose the game because of something you did,
right?
As a coach, or even as a player, you don't want that kid to miss a shot. And then, oh my God, I watched the Crestview and who they played in D2 last night. Ashland Crestview was playing. I can't remember. Stole down 1. Girl hit a 3, down 1. They steal the inbounds pass. They miss 2 layups and lose the game. I mean, how'd you like to be those 2 players? It's just like, and one happened to be, I believe one was a senior, and that's her last high school shot is a missed layup to keep their season alive. And it was an upset game. It might have been, it was Upper Sandusky beat. I don't remember, but anyway, you just, that's the unfortunate parts of tourney time is it's just one of those things.
Everything gets put under a microscope, and as you know, as a coach, like it didn't come down to those 2 shots.
No, and everybody will point at that, but there were 10 possessions earlier in the game that you can point to. That pass, that missed shot, that missed free throw, that missed rebound. I told our girls after, you were there. I told our girls after the Fort Fry game, that girl hit the corner 3, but it wasn't that shot. It was the previous possessions of a missed rebound, a missed layup, a missed free throw. But everybody's going to focus on, you didn't, close out on the person hitting the 3 in the corner.
Yeah, it's hard to tell a kid that. Like, I remember Poland played West Branch a couple of years ago. Jackie Grisdale was at the free throw line, and you never expect her to miss free throws. She missed it, and West Branch got the win that night. And it was one of those things. It's like you feel bad for the player, but at the same time, that the game's not decided by that one shot. But definitely everything's under a microscope come tournament time.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about this Berkshire game that you guys played to get to this district championship game that we're going to talk about. 16-13 after 1. I mean, it was a competitive game, and then you guys won the second and third quarter pretty handily to pull away. What kind of was the difference between the first and second quarter, and what adjustments did you guys make during the game?
Really, we knew they caused problems to us even in the first time. We started off really hot against them. I think we were up 17-0 when we played them in regular season, and then they cut it to, I think, 8 or 10 at halftime, and then I think they cut it to 8 in the third quarter, and then we put a little blitz on them. We got in a little foul trouble, so we had to play a little different defense than what we were planning. I don't think they were completely expecting us to play the defense that we played, and we just rotated really well. I think the girls realized, this player's out with fouls. Somebody's got to step up. And we had a couple kids step up that night. Sydney stepped up big time. Nora stepped up to play some really quality minutes for us because you can't plan for fouls. You don't know how the game's going to get called. And then, third quarter, we have not played an entire half of man defense for a while. And we ended up saying, all right, let's go. We knew we had to stop their dribble drive, and we felt the way to do that was to man up with them. And we did a phenomenal job talking and getting in position and getting our hands in the passing lanes and making all their shots difficult. I think they ended up shooting like 20-some% for the game. I think we were darn near 50% for the game. And part of that was because we were shooting layups and they were shooting, mid-range and deep shots. So
you had a couple of more milestones happen in this game as well. Jenna Smith eclipses 1,600, I believe, the third player in Garfield history to get to 1,600, which I saw. I don't know if it's accurate. I saw you're the only team in Portage County to
Tom Nader, who is a reporter for the Record Courier's done a lot of work and stuff, and he tweeted that out, that he believes it's, we're the only school in the county to have 3. I've been blessed that I've had all 3 of them with Grace and now Jenna. But that's just one of those things that it's just hard work, and it's just, as I said before, with the 1,000-point milestone, I think you're seeing more of them because there's more games now to play. And you have players. You look at all three of those girls. All three of them were four-year starters. All three of them made regional runs. So it's just more games, more opportunities. But bottom line, all three of them are studs. I mean, all three of them are great at their position. They all understand. They're all willing to shoulder a huge load. They know when game's on the line, all three of them are going to see the ball. I mean, there is an outside chance that Jenna could catch Grace. She's not going to catch Grayson unless we can make it to Columbus or Dayton now, I should say. She's got a chance to get. But the nice thing with her is, she had one kind of goal number in mind going into the season based on where she was. But these numbers now are just icing on the cake. And then for Sarah to break her own single season record. And the thing about last year, her single season record is because of the COVID and everything, we played 4 less season games. So, realistically, if she could have had 4 games, she might have even set that mark higher last year. But, this year she was able to break last year's record and really put her name. I was joking with her the other day. I go, God, I got to look at your name for a while. It's going to be on the board 3 times. Those are 2 kids that, we found video of the regional run. I showed them regional game from when we made it to regionals last year. I showed them our regional games from 2015 and 2017, and in 2015, ironically, there's a group of young players, future players, who are sitting front row and second row. And in that group, watching the game is Sarah and Jenna. And it's, we talked about years ago, you guys were sitting, now you're on this floor playing. And so, they've had this in the back of their mind of getting to this game, getting to the next level. Obviously, district championship game 3 years in a row. No class has ever done that in girls basketball history here at this school. Nobody's ever been in 3 district title games. So, I told them, I said, that's something that even that class with Grayson and Lauren didn't do. We made it 2 in 3 years, but we never made it 3 in 3 years.
And for the 3rd straight time, you get the same team on the other end.
Yes, we do.
To town.
4 and 5 years.
Right. I mean,
because in 17 we played them. 17 we played them. 18 we didn't make it, and then 19, 20, 21. So I mean, three in a row. I'd be interested to look around the brackets in the state and see of all the divisions how many times the same 2 teams have matched up repeatedly in the district championship game.
They've become even more familiar this year because they're in their conference, and you've played them twice in conference play. Before we get you out of here, preview this game. I know you split with them in the regular season, the exciting overtime win the last time. What's it going to take this time around to kind of maybe separate yourselves a little bit or make the difference in this game?
I think with them, they're playing like us. I think we're both teams are playing really well right now. I know, once Mike lost the freshman Grisdale, to knee injury, he had to kind of tweak his playing style a little bit, and they have. They've become much more of a 5-out dribble drive team than he's ever been, launching a lot of threes. But he's got really quick guards, with Howell and Meyer, and then Dodrell. You cannot leave her open. I mean, that game Wednesday night when she was out, Kirtland was right there and had everything. And then Dodrell came back in halfway through the 3rd quarter, and I don't think she missed a shot. And that's when the game blew open. So, she's a set shooter. She's a problem. But so is Meyer. Meyer's, that girl, all 3 of them have averaged about 14 a game against us in the 2 times we've played. It's one of those where neither of us are going to do anything necessarily that's going to surprise the other person. We're both, Mike, I'm sure, is trying to find a little wrinkle to put in offensively or maybe defensively to do something. But we know what we're going to do. They know what we're going to do. We know each other's plays. God, we call a play and he's sitting there telling people where to go. He calls a play. I'm telling our kids where his kids are going to go. So there's a ton of familiarity. We've become friends over the years just because of these battles. It's a respect thing. And I think it's a tribute to both programs to be in this game consistently. I think that's just something that no matter who's on the roster, We're both finding ways to win, and playing those couple extra times this year, they've been dogfights. I don't think this game's going to change at all. I'm hoping it's a dogfight. I'm hoping we're on the right side of that fight. But like I said, tourney time, you never know who's going to hit that shot.
When it's so familiar, how do you not fall into the trap of trying to change too much or trying to, fix what's not broken to break the familiarity chain?
Yeah, that's the big thing as coaches that we have to do is we've got to do what we feel comfortable with. We may see a wrinkle that we want to put in, but we also don't want to paralyze our kids mentally by freezing them, trying to watch for something. Just kind of let the flow of the game go. And both of us feel that in both games we had opportunities to win. The first time we play, they beat us by 3. I'm like, okay, we had opportunities, and then we beat them by 3 in overtime, and they had hit that layup at the buzzer to tie it in regulation. So he's sitting there going, well, God, we had opportunities to go too. So I just think it's just going to be. I think it's going to be an awesome atmosphere. I think both groups are going to bring a ton of people. It's going to be the way high school basketball should. It's going to be loud. It's going to be intense. Hopefully it's a well-called game because we want to see players on the floor. We want the players to be, at their best and not worrying about, ticky-tack things. And but, at the same time, let's put props to our conference, the great tier. You got the top 4 teams all playing each other for district championships. I mean, our tier is as good as anybody. I know West Branch's league's got multiple teams playing for district titles too. And I looked at our schedule. We lost 6 games. Every one of those 6 opponents is playing for a district championship either tonight or tomorrow. So, I think that's a tribute to, just the basketball, the quality of basketball in the area that, there's some representatives that are going to do some damage even at the regional level once we get through each other at the district level.
Yeah, and you're in the same region, so we could see an MVAC regional final too.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, you want to talk about kudos to the league. I mean, that just kind of shows you how tough our conference is. If we can get people that far, it's a grind. We just beat each other up during the season and prepare each other, I guess, for the postseason.
Coach, we wish you the best of luck. We know this game's going to be wild in Lakeview. We hope that you guys come up on top. Honestly, biggest hope is everyone comes out healthy and it's a good game.
Absolutely,
because that's the most important thing. Coach, we look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you always for the time that you give us.
Yep, I appreciate it. Thanks, Anthony. Have a good one.